News Talk 710 KURV, audio on demand.
Our guest is Manuel Padilla, Jr. He is the Chief Patrol Agent of the Border Patrol. That's the green uniform people here on the southern border, and he is originally from Arizona. So thank you very much for being here. When did you enter the service?
I actually started the U.S. Border Patrol in 1986. I'm actually living a childhood dream, wanted to be a Border Patrol agent at the age of 13. So right after high school, joined the military. I was out for 1 year, and here I am with the Border Patrol almost 30 years later.
What was it about the Border Patrol that seized your 13-year-old attention?
I was born in Nogales, Arizona, which is a small border town in southern Arizona. And as part of growing up, I actually ranched along the border and interacted with the very few Border Patrol agents that we had back then. And I was actually inspired by the what they did and how they carried themselves. So that was my first interest in becoming a Border Patrol agent.
You think Border Patrol agents carry themselves different than other uniformed law enforcement officers?
I believe so. And the reason for that is if you were to see how we are trained at the academy, it's you would call it a paramilitary organization where we actually start with formations and marching and left turn, right turn, about face, and all that good stuff. So,
is that unusual? They do that in the FBI or ICE?
The agencies that I have seen, for example, at Glencoe, which is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, of course, now we're located in Artesia, New Mexico, but the other agencies that I've seen is very few that actually have as rigorous as a training program as we do.
Chief, how long have you been here in the Valley?
I've been here since right before Christmas.
Wow. So it was our Christmas present and yours as well.
Oh, absolutely. Truly enjoying it.
When you moved from what were you doing in Arizona? Were you the chief there, or is this a step up for you? And so you got 3 stars on your on your collars. Assuming you didn't get them at the secondhand shop, I guess that's a pretty good deal, right?
Arizona. I could tell you, I'm going to take you on a quick history, but starting in 1994. We started in El Paso where it was busy, and we infused a lot of personnel, technology, and infrastructure. And as the years have gone by, we went from El Paso to San Diego. Actually, we came here to Rio Grande Valley back in 1996, 1997 timeframe. And the traffic was not very heavy here, so it kind of became entrenched in Arizona. Yeah. And we've been very busy in Arizona since about 1999. Until about 2013, we actually started seeing a spike here.
Since you are from Arizona, what do you think are the biggest differences compared to the Arizona border and our Rio Grande Valley border?
Roxanne, from a border security perspective, the threat and the terrain dictates your equipment and your tactics, right? So you have to consider the terrain and the situation that you're facing from a criminal element perspective. So that's a big difference. If you look at Arizona, you have mountains that are often compared to Afghanistan mountains. And if you look at the Rio Grande Valley, it's quite flat. And green. So the vegetation, the water, a lot more water here than in Arizona. So huge differences as far as geography goes. So that's the first thing that I took note of. And so what does that mean to us is when you look at the terrain in Arizona, the technology that we deploy over there, the tactics, the way of doing business that we deploy over there may or may not work here. So one very specific point is the technology that we used over there, as nice as it worked over there, it doesn't work as well here. So we use other technologies.
What's the status of the move or the suggested move or attempted move to more digital or camera observations? The Border Patrol for years has used underground sensors, I know, and then somebody will hit it, and then you respond to that. You respond to that, but are you all going to go more to cameras? Does that make any sense, or do they abandon that? That's why I'm posing the question a little bit tenuous, because I'm not sure whether there's been talk about fewer agents, more cameras, but then where does that stand? Apparently, it doesn't stand anywhere.
Right.
Chief Padilla is giving me a question.
Yeah,
What? What?
I give him that face
what?
every day, Chief.
When they sent you here, were you given a task of any sort? I mean, are you given a particular list of things they want you to achieve, or are you just told to go take charge?
Yeah, they told me to come over here and figure it out, and then do what I needed to be done. So it was very specific, quite honestly.
Yeah.
No, in all sincerity, it's when you're looking again at the border security mission, you have a host of equipment, different suites of equipment and technology is evolving rapidly, as you well know. I mean, even in your profession as radio people, the technology is just advancing quite differently or quite rapidly. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the simple things such as you have in front of you, that
all my Apple products,
yes, and that smartphone.
Yeah,
it has huge impact in us carrying out our mission, because the communication with the criminal element has changed from the analog radios to now using the different applications in the smartphone. So the same goes with us. We have to evolve the technology to better increase our detection capability and also our response capability. So you're looking at me funny now. Let me explain that.
I'm thinking. I wonder if they use drones. Is what I was thinking.
Oh, absolutely. We use unmanned aerial systems, and so sometimes they're called drones, unarmed, of course, but they do have cameras and different technologies that help us detect. So if you look at the border security mission, two very basic functions, right? The first one is detection. The second one is response. So on the detection piece, if we were able to detect everything that crosses between the ports of entry, that gives us a detection capability. Yeah. And of course, then after we detect it, we have to respond to that traffic and either make an apprehension, an interdiction, a seizure, or whatever law enforcement outcome that we do. So everything that we do operationally is to increase one of those two main functions. So all kinds of technology just to increase those two functions.
Technology scares me, but I know it's also very, very beneficial.
Our guest in studio is the new Chief Border Patrol agent here in the Rio Grande Valley, the Valley Sector, they call it, Manuel Padilla Jr. He comes to us from Arizona. Before we take a pause, what are the trends, or are there trends in people coming across in terms of, for a long time, it was Mexicans we saw here. Then apparently we don't see so many Mexicans. We see other people other than Mexicans, but I don't know what that means. Occasionally there'll be a news story about they caught a Syrian, and I go, well, they catch Syrians all. I mean, that's not evidence that we're being infiltrated by ISIS. The national media may play it that way, but I'm a little more skeptical. What are we seeing in terms of people coming?
Well, that's a keen observation. For years, the majority of the people that we came in contact with, that we apprehended, were from Mexico, and 2013, when we actually started seeing a spike here, a shift from Tucson, Arizona, over here in the valley. One of the biggest changes that we were looking at is the change in demographics as well. So right now, I can tell you that nationwide, or southwest border-wide, I should say, we are seeing more people from Central America than we are from Mexico, and we're at about a 51-49. Average of 51% being Central Americans. So then we can go into a whole list of factors of why that is. Just some of the things that come to my mind is if you look at the Mexican families, the traditional families, 15, 20 years ago, these family units consisted of about 12 people, mama and papa and 10 kids.
My mom comes from 12.
And if you look at the family units now, it's very Americanized, if you will, 2 to 3.
Not in a good way.
Chief, let's be honest. It's because having kids is expensive. So that's probably why too.
Feeding kids is expensive, right? Yeah, I can attest to that. Definitely.
How many you got?
I have 6 kids.
Whoa!
Well, you're up there too, Chief.
So I'm changing it.
Look at Davis's face.
Control. Two words.
He only has 2.
We'd have had a lot of kids too, but that's another story. Okay, so the Mexican family used to be larger. It's smaller. Now they're not having as many children as they have. Their economy's better. So
the economy's better.
Net migration back to Mexico in spite of what one hears nationally. And it's the Central Americans fleeing violence. one reads.
Yes.
Do you get many other than Mexicans?
Actually, yes. We apprehend, so far this fiscal year today, we've apprehended people from about 71 different countries. So, yes, we have a whole...
What do you do when you get somebody you don't speak the language or you don't know what language they speak?
We have services.
Where do you call?
We have translation services available to us for
Really?
the different, the different languages. And then I'm going to throw something that's very important to us. Since you opened the door to that, is diversity is very valued in our line of business, because CBP comes across not only the Border Patrol but the other offices and CBP. We come across a whole bunch of countries and languages and cultures that our workforce has to kind of be reflective of the global environment in which we operate.
Our guest is the new Chief Patrol Agent of the Border Patrol here in the Rio Grande Valley, southern tip of Texas. Manuel Padilla Jr. comes to us from Arizona. Many years in the Border Patrol. This is we've talked about what the Border Patrol does, which is to detect and to catch. You said detect and respond. I prefer detect and catch, but you got to respond before you can catch. What does ICE do? Information. You're not the same service, right?
So Immigration and Customs Enforcement is, I assume, what you're referring to. So ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, is an investigative agency. So if you could picture in a police force, you have your patrol function and then you have your investigative function. So ICE is our investigative sister agency, if you will. They investigate. If we, for example, we make an interdiction of a human smuggling case or a narcotics case, they will follow up on the investigation of whose it was.
So you hand it off to them for follow-up.
Absolutely.
We don't have that much time left, so I want to ask. Yeah, I want to ask about these two stories.
Whoa.
Yesterday, I think it was that came out, or the day before yesterday, that you found Border Patrol found a 2-year-old little girl by herself, and then also yesterday, 2 teenage sisters that were pretty much left for dead. Can you elaborate on those stories?
Absolutely. I'll just take 2 hours to do that.
The next time we'll have you hear the whole show.
Yes. No, actually, this is a topic that I am very passionate about, and one of our initiatives. So one of the things that I first noticed when I arrived at the Valley is, of course, the flow of family units and the unaccompanied children. But more of concern to me was the atrocities and the dangers that these smugglers place these people in, and also our families when they fail to yield when we try to stop them and they take off at high rates of speed, putting our families in danger as well as the people that they carry. But anyways, this 2-year-old little girl was found right by the riverbank. Wow. Actually turned over to the agents and thank God she was safe and healthy. But the part that concerns me is this is a 2-year-old little girl that is kind of floated across the river, if you will, on a raft that is extremely unsafe.
You're kidding me.
Not at all. In fact, you know that we find bodies on a regular basis that drown along the river. So this little girl is submitted to this danger. And the thing that is frustrating and concerning is that there is the ability to transfer this little girl to authorities in Mexico or our authorities at a safe place and not endangering her in the river, right? So I wanted to make sure that we talk about the smugglers for who they are and what they do to people. So
were they ever, were smugglers ever, I don't know how to phrase the question. Now they say that anything that moves through Mexico is either done by or has to be blessed by the cartels, the underworld, the gangs. That was always not true. I don't think when you started in the business, but maybe I'm wrong. But these are not nice people. They're not helping people who want to come north, just looking for a better chance. The people who are shepherding them across are not those people.
Yeah,
these are very ugly, wicked people.
Absolutely, driven only by the love of money. So that was a deal with a 2-year-old. She's doing fine. She's being reunited with the family. So it ended up as a good story. Now the Mexican
teenagers,
the two teenagers was a tragedy, and then of course we had another one this morning. But on the two teenagers, again, the lies of the smugglers is going to be a short walk, not a big deal.
Yeah.
We're going to get you to where you need to go. They kind of force them to walk across the, I call it desert too, but it's a little bit more brushier than Arizona. And the heat combined with the lack of water puts them in a very dangerous
Where
predicament.
was this?
This was going up towards the Falfurrias checkpoint.
I talked to a rancher northwest Hidalgo County, sort of Brooks. He said there's a place, which I've not seen, just north of there. He calls the desert. He says it's sandy and just ugly hot.
Yes. So this young lady, we got to her. She was alive, which is a good thing. But she is fighting for her life right now as we speak. So hopefully she makes it through. And then this morning, which is indirectly reflecting the smugglers, is we had another lady that was being smuggled up on the checkpoint area. Actually, this one was by Kingsville.
Wow.
Across the street, and was hit by a semi-truck.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, just those atrocities. And then the conditions of the stash houses, the reports that the agents hear about the sexual assaults, the smugglers taking their money. And we need to bring light to that. It would be not good of us if we don't address this, not only from a law enforcement perspective, but from a community perspective. So.
I wish we had more time, Chief, but unfortunately, you were saved by the bell or by our bottom of the hour news break. Manuel Padilla Jr. is the R.G.V. Border Patrol Chief. Thank you so much for being here. It really was a prayer answered.
Hope you like the heat, brother, because it's hot in Arizona too.
Yeah,
but
we have
more humidity here. Ew. Anyway, Chief, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you
for having me.